Okay, so today I felt like recording the video outside and switching it up a bit. This is my first time recording a video outside. And that's also because I just came back from a walk and have been feeling very inspired lately to finally catch you guys up on my BFS condition and just my overall health and well-being, what I've been doing to improve the way I feel throughout my day-to-day, physically, mentally, emotionally with BFS. So I did have a video that I recorded a couple months ago, sometime towards the end of last year, on BFS, benign fasciculation syndrome, what it is, why I think I may have got it, and how I've been sort of dealing with some of the symptoms and challenges as a way to sort of find my way back to balance. So, quick touch on BFS. If you already don't know what it is, it's benign fasciculation syndrome, which means I get like muscle spasms and twitches all throughout my body. Most people that get BFS, it's usually like the lower half of your body. So I get a lot of it like in my legs, thighs, even like my butt sometimes. And rarely, sometimes it shifts up here and I'll feel like in my shoulders or like my upper arm. Sometimes my left eye like twitches. I don't know. Sometimes people have superstitions around that or there's like a spiritual significance, but regardless, it's annoying. So it's not life-threatening. It's not something where, I've done multiple tests where I've been able to rule out like serious health conditions like multiple sclerosis or ALS. So it's good to know that it's not like a serious life-threatening condition, but it has seriously shifted my way of life and how I feel in my body, because it is annoying, especially when I first got diagnosed with BFS. The twitching was happening like every minute, like I would feel something. So now I've gotten to a place where I feel the spasms and the twitches less and less and less. I've noticed like over the past 3 years, because I've been diagnosed with it since 2021, I believe. So the past 3 years or so, I have noticed like what makes it worse. If I eat something that day and I feel like the twitching is more pronounced, I could link it back to that, or if it was a particular stressful situation I was in, etc., etc. So anyways, I just wanted to create this video because people have been asking me what have I been doing lately to sort of heal from this condition, and not heal just the condition, but I really want to place an emphasis on this is a lifelong journey, right? Taking care of ourselves and our health. It isn't like a one quick fix and then go back to doing all the things that led to maybe having the BFS or some other medical condition. So I'm being very mindful of that. It's like, how can I change my body for the better, for life, not just to get rid of this particular condition. So if you want to hear more of a background story as to how I feel like I got it, when I got it, and the story around it, you can watch the first video. But today's video, I'm going to try to keep it short and really just touch on the different areas of my health and what I've been doing that I feel like have helped since I recorded the last video. So I'm going to say definitely overall managing your stress levels. So this is just anything that you think is going to cause stress and is attached to the emotions that induce stress, right? So anger, frustration, overwhelm, resentment. I definitely want to remove myself of situations that are going to cause stress in the first place. So people, could be certain people, maybe limiting my time and exposure to certain people that I know might be a bit more negative or might bring me down or create situations in which negative interactions could occur. And thank God I have been really blessed with great people in my life, so I don't really have to deal with that too much. But there are specific people in my life that still, I can't maybe really get rid of them. They may be family, but I do have to be able to limit or manage how I interact with them and how long I can interact with them, especially if I'm in the same environment. And then I would say just what I'm listening to, right? I really have been mindful. Did you see that bee? Anyways, okay, so I've been really mindful of what I listen to. I think a lot of people underestimate even just it's not just about what you eat, your diet, but we gotta also think about who we're surrounding ourselves with, what we're listening to, the intake through, you know, the conversations that we're having, what kind of music we're listening to, how we're being educated, how we're forming our opinions, right? Who we're learning from. So for me, I think just one thing that I've started is getting back into downloading some sort of meditation or breathwork app. And one of them that I have is called Othership. And so this one is more specifically for breathwork. So it's sort of helping me to stay in the present moment, to sort of limit the overwhelming emotions that may come up throughout the day. So I might start with it in the morning to kind of set an intention for how I want my day to look like and set my day on a, you know, start my day on a positive note. Or I may end with it at night to sort of just, you know, after a heavy work day, just release all the stress, the worries, the to-do list, the things that I feel like I have to do, and to kind of just come back into the body, remind myself that I'm safe, I'm here, and get ready for bed, and to have a restful, deep sleep. So that has been very helpful. And then I would say as well, I have another app called Superhuman, and this app is really interesting. So it's really built for people that have a hard time with meditation and just sitting still and not listening to anything and just silence for minutes or even hours on end. So it's a mix of like motivational talking, pep talks, binaural beats, high vibrational frequencies, and affirmations being said out loud. So it's really interesting because you can listen to some of their audios while you're walking. You can really do it at any time, because what this app is supposed to do is help embed some of these affirmations into your subconscious. So you don't really consciously have to be paying attention to it, but subconsciously your mind is still picking up the vibrations and the words that are coming from these audios, right? So this is why it kind of ties back to also like music, because a lot of people feel like, oh, well, like I just listen to the beat. Like it doesn't matter what the words are saying. And that's totally false, right? Words have so much power. There's been a study that was done where, and I have to find, I'm gonna probably put the name of the study up here, but so the study was trying to show the effect of language and the vibrational effects of what you say to an object of nature and the outcome of its physical appearance. So for example, this researcher put rice into, I think it was a rice in a jar, and it was like 3 different jars with rice filled in it. And one of the rice jars, he spoke positive affirmations into it. And the second jar, he didn't say anything. And the third jar, it was just saying hateful stuff towards like this jar of rice. And over the next couple of weeks, the first jar that had positive words being said to it was like thriving. Like it had no changes, very little change to this bag of rice, right? It looked like as if it was just probably picked from its roots from a garden or whatever. And then the second jar, light change, or really slight change, very minimal, because naturally any kind of food is going to decay over time. So you could see that normal decay that it would have had if you would have said nothing to it, if you would have just left it as is. Then the third jar, it was getting black and moldy. And so just by seeing that, just by that experiment alone, and this was replicated with water, even doing the same thing with water, and then looking microscopically at the vibrational patterns, and you can see in the water molecules, the one that had positive affirmations being said to it looked a lot more symmetrical, looked very pretty, and then the one that had like a lot of negative words being said to it looked very unsymmetrical and sort of like dysregulated, right? And you could tell like it didn't look pretty and symmetrical as the study did with the positive affirmations being said to this. Same thing with plants. This has been replicated with plants talking positive affirmations to a flower versus a flower having negative words and phrases being said to it over time. So imagine on a smaller scale, this is what it's doing. But suddenly imagine what it's doing for us as humans, right? So we're the same way. If you even think about it, we're like 80% water or something like that, 90% water. So we have to be so mindful of what we're saying to ourselves, how we allow people to talk about us, and also what we listen to. So I find the Superhuman app to be so powerful, and I've seen incredible shifts even just the past couple weeks of downloading the app, doing the free trial, and now investing in it, because literally as I fall asleep, sometimes I play it overnight. Sometimes I do it in the mornings before bed. Like, I've really just been trying to incorporate it into my everyday. Sometimes even when I'm cooking or just cleaning the house, like I just have that playing. Like that, literally that app has been like my music lately. That's mostly what I listen to, and I've seen incredible shifts because most of the affirmations are about becoming a better version of yourself, you know, being positive, self-love, finding confidence, attracting wealth and abundance, and knowing that you're exactly where you need to be. It's like that constant reminder that we always need. And I see these activities, these self-care rituals as medicine, right? It's like you go, you know, maybe there's a multivitamin that you have to take every day, or some kind of pill. Maybe it's like a birth control pill, something that you have to take every day for physical reasons, but we forget about doing something for, you know, still taking our medicine for our mental health, our emotional health, right? So let's also be mindful of that. Anyways, I think I've gone on a lot about like the mental side, but I think it's really, really, really important. If it's, regardless if you have BFS or not, I feel like it's something that you really should be doing. How are you taking care of your mental health, your emotions throughout the day? How are you shifting from a negative mindset to a positive mindset, even about the condition that you have, right? So sometimes a lot of the meditations that I do are around body positivity and health and like loving my body. And I feel like that has definitely made such a huge difference. Overall, I just do want to say my twitching, because in the beginning of the video I mentioned that like my twitching was, in the beginning it felt like every minute I was feeling a spasm or a twitch, and now I can confidently say I don't feel anything for hours at a time. Or if I do feel something, like 2 hours later, I might feel it, you know, like a spasm every 5 minutes or so, or like within a 5 minute like time period, but then it goes away for like another couple hours. So it's definitely being spaced out. And I think that is definitely progress, right? It's not like this continual tremor every 5 minutes that I'm expecting. It's definitely just I really, even more so, don't know when to expect it, which feels good to me. Okay, so now the physical side of things. So what I've noticed is that there are physical things that you can be doing with your body that can actually add more stress. So outside of just the running around, you know, maybe you have a job that's like very physically intensive, I would try to like minimize like doing a lot of physical intensive work, because it adds more strain on your body. So something that I haven't been doing in a long time is going to the gym. And I know this is something that's like heavily sort of championed, and it's like a trendy thing, right? People going to the gym, having these, you know, gym memberships, and you know, going and doing your reps or working on your cardio, whatever it may be. But you don't actually have to do physically intensive exercise to get adequate amounts of exercise. So that's something that I've been learning the past couple of years, shifting from more high intense workouts to low intense workouts, but for longer periods of time. So example, a walk. You can burn the same amount of calories running on a treadmill by just walking for like an hour to 2 hours, right? Some people may say, well, I don't have 2 hours to go for a walk, but you know, if you do have the ability and the time, even at least an hour, just more intentional walking can burn just the same amount of calories and is less harder on your body. So I've been looking into exercises that are less physically intensive. So whether that's going for walks in the morning, and actually I pair that with the Superhuman app, and or with some sort of meditation app to definitely get some of those positive affirmations in, or just to remind me to be present, or just playing some kind of music. Sometimes I don't walk with my phone because I just want to be, you know, listening to nature and just the regular sounds around me. So it just depends on the day and what I'm feeling. Sometimes yoga, I haven't been doing yoga as much, and I think that's really just it, just doing like regular stretches throughout the day and trying to go for walks as much as possible. Now that the weather is like warmer and getting better, because I think at the time that I recorded my last video, it was probably in the fall or the winter, it was cold. I find it's very hard to like be motivated to go outside when it is like colder, when it's snowing outside or it's just really cold climate. So now that the weather is warming up, it's really gonna make it easy for me to be motivated to just go outside, to just throw on like a light jacket, or maybe I don't even need a jacket, and just go for a quick walk in the mornings. Then I'm going to say diet. I'm gonna end off with diet because some of the foods that you eat can also stress out your body. So really holistically, you just really have to look at what could be stressing out my body. So people don't really look at diet, or diet is one of the hardest things to shift and to change, because we're so stuck in our habitual patterns. We're, culturally, there are food maybe that we're used to eating and we don't want to stray from it. There are foods that taste good that may not be good for your body that you don't want to get rid of. So it's really hard to shift something when you have a certain comfort level with it, right? And so asking someone to shift from what's comfortable to something that might be uncomfortable at first, but actually might make you even more comfortable and healthier in your body over time, can be a little bit hard in the beginning. So for me, mainly what I've been doing is I've actually gone back to eating meat. So I've been vegan on and off for the past couple of years, and I find that sometimes it was harder for me to get all the certain vitamins that I needed. Maybe I was getting too much of one vitamin and like neglecting the other, and just wasn't really consistent in taking multivitamins. So that's something that I started doing within like the past years, getting back on multivitamins. My multivitamin right now doesn't look like an actual pill or gummy. I've been substituting it with Shilajit. So I talked about that in my last video. Shilajit is like a resin, and it has a lot of minerals in it. So that's something that I've been taking. And activated charcoal is another supplement that I've been taking to help with my overall diet. So that's those two things I take first thing in the morning. So the Shilajit and the activated charcoal. Activated charcoal is supposed to draw impurities and toxins. Doctors, if there's someone who's poisoned and they're in a hospital, doctors will use activated charcoal to draw out those impurities. So the thing with detoxing is we have to be very mindful of not overdoing it, because detoxing can also overwhelm our body. So not only just managing like what types of foods you're eating, but some of the foods that you're eating might shift your body into a detox mode, and we want to make sure that we're not overdoing it. So those are the only two things that I start off my morning with, and the activated charcoal is really the only detox method that I am taking as of right now. And I'm on for 6 days, and then there's one day I'll take a break and I'm off. And then I'll usually do it for like about 3 months straight, and then I'll take a break again to give my body some time. So when it comes to actual foods that you're eating, definitely wanting to limit foods that are inflammatory to the body, right? Inflammation is going to be the worst thing that you can do to your body, especially if you already have BFS, because your body's already inflamed. So we want to reduce inflammation. So the two things that you definitely want to cut out is dairy and gluten. I have my own reasons for why I want to cut out dairy on top of the inflammation, just because it also gives me really bad breakouts. Like every time I eat something with dairy, like I'll get a pimple, like it's guaranteed. And if I don't eat any dairy for a while, like my skin is like the clearest. So these are things, like I said, over time, as you experiment with different foods, you have to listen to your body, and sometimes you can see on your body will physically show you the negative results of eating certain foods. So dairy, gluten, you really want to make sure you cut those out. And meat, I'm very iffy with meat, trying to reduce red meat because it's a lot of fat, which can also be hard for your body to digest. So just being very mindful. It's not that you can't eat any meat, but regardless, if you eat meat or not, you want to have a heavy plant-based diet. So primarily, you should be eating more fruits and vegetables than you are anything else. Meats, grains, carbs, any of that stuff. Sugar, right? Really also eliminating sugar too, because sugar adds a lot of stress to the body. That one's been a little bit harder for me, but I found a hack and a way to sort of minimize glucose levels in my body, which can, if you eat sugar right away or anything that's high carb, straight into your body, it goes straight into your bloodstream, and it can cause these like really, really high and low spikes and in energy levels. And I've noticed over the past, for years, I've always had this like lethargy, and I've always been so tired. And I think primarily the reason because of this is because of my glucose levels. Having a diet that was rich in sweet foods and lots of like rice, high carbs, pasta, pizzas, things like that, you really want to try to minimize or substitute it with like high protein rich substitutes. So for example, like pastas, I might substitute it with like zucchini. If that's a vegetable, I can make noodles out of it. And in a way, it's like I still feel like I'm eating pasta, just a healthier version. So doing a lot of research around that, getting creative with like having substitutes for things that you really do love, but just making it healthier and still tastes good, right? You don't have to compromise taste. So those are things that I've sort of been doing. I'm trying to think like diet wise, what else? But that's mainly it. I think I've sort of just been prioritizing eating a lot more fruits and veggies, protein, high protein before eating anything that has a lot of carbs or sugar, just so it doesn't spike my glucose levels, and it's more of like an easy absorption and digestive process. And then recently, just like maybe 2-3 weeks ago, I bought a probiotic. And now probiotics I've always struggled with, because sometimes the probiotic, I find certain brands that I've taken have actually made my twitching worse. So I'm a little bit hesitant to suggest taking probiotics. And there's natural ways you can take probiotics too, like eating a lot of fermented foods. But I have found a probiotic that I feel like has been working wonders. I feel like it in the beginning, maybe the first day or two, I noticed my twitching became a little bit like more pronounced, but then after that it went back to like its normal state of where I am now in my journey, where it's like still hours apart. If anything, I feel like it's been helping increase the gap times between my tremors and my twitches. So I will put in the description below the specific type of probiotic that I am using right now that I find has been helpful. And I think meat has somewhat been helping me, just because I'm introducing like new foods like back into my body again. And also my BFS started when I was vegan and when I wasn't eating meat. So I feel like if there was some kind of deficiency that I was having because of that, having meat can help with my protein intake, and ensuring that when I do have something with protein, I can now eat some of those carb foods or sugars without it having such a huge impact on my energy levels. And overall, I would say, yeah, those are really just the only changes I've been making. And, you know, being mindful, like I said, like what works for me may not work for you. But I think continuing to just be, you know, steady along this journey. Oh, one more thing, water. So in terms of what I'm drinking, you definitely want to be drinking lots of water, especially if you are eating foods or supplementing with things that have like that shift your body into more of a detox state. So with the activated charcoal, because I am taking that, I make sure to drink lots of water. You're recommended 2 liters a day, if not more. To be honest, I haven't been the best with it. I used to have like a gallon jug that I would fill up in the morning and like would finish by the end of the day, and it would have like those like motivational lines for like each hour. I found that was really helpful, but now I've switched over to a LARQ bottle, which is just as good, but I feel like it's a bit harder to know where I'm at in terms of how much water I'm drinking throughout the day, and like it's more work to have to go to the fridge and replenish the water versus just having all the water there at the beginning of the day. So I purchased a LARQ bottle because it has a built-in water filtration system. So this is also important because BFS, I've noticed what could be adding more stress to your body is heavy metals, right? And heavy metals, they're poisons, and obviously even having subtle traces of it can create negative health symptoms. This is sort of a controversial topic because some people believe you have to have very high amounts of heavy metals for it to really affect you negatively, but then there are some research that's showing like even subtle amounts of heavy metals can have really harsh effects on the body. So for me, just as a preventative method, but also not knowing if I do have too much heavy metals in my body, I've switched to, and you should, whether it's a water bottle or in your home, have some sort of water filtration system to eliminate some of these heavy metals that are found naturally in water. And because of our environment, right? Our environment is so toxic with all the pollution in this world that's going on. This is definitely seeping into our foods, into our water. So actually, I didn't mention this about food, but shopping organic, I always make sure to buy as much as possible organic foods. But anyways, I find what's been helpful is drinking more tea. For some reason, I've been more of a tea girl lately. I've always really been more into tea because I don't drink coffee. But one thing to be mindful of when drinking tea is that you don't want to have something with too much caffeine, because caffeine will also create more stress in your body, right? And we want to minimize stress when we have BFS. So don't drink coffee, never did, so that wasn't really an issue for me. But black teas, right? Some people really like drinking black teas, so it doesn't even have to be black. Green tea sometimes has caffeine in it. your Earl Grey, your orange pekoe. So you got to be very mindful of like avoiding black teas. So most of the teas I drink I try to actually be very strategic and have teas that have herbs in it that are good for calming the nervous system, right? So anything that like has, or the digestive system. So peppermint, ginger, lemongrass, these are going to be very good things for the digestive system, for your mental health. Skullcap, lemongrass, I'm trying to think, passion flower, chamomile. Those are the teas that I drink more often, maybe before bed or throughout the day, just to kind of calm and soothe my nervous system. Before I eat or after I eat, I'll usually have peppermint tea. So, and because I love sipping on teas throughout the day, for some reason, when I'm at work, I can just, or when I'm working, at my desk doing biz stuff, I just love sipping on my tea. I feel like it's just more second nature to me versus having water. I feel like I don't reach for my water as much. So that's sort of a hack that I've been using, is drinking a lot more tea. And if you think about it, it's actually a smarter way to drink your water because you're getting those added herbal benefits from it. So I'm a huge tea person. Like I said, I have my tea for like my morning, when I'm eating, for my digestion, and then for my mental health. So I definitely would suggest looking into that, trying to drink some of these teas throughout the day. And really, you can drink green tea. I think there are ways to have like, decaffeinated tea, or just make sure that your coffee is decaffeinated if you really can't stay away from them, because green tea really does have great benefits too. So I wouldn't want you to like lose some of the benefits from drinking some of these other herbal concoctions, but just making sure that there is no caffeine at all. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but if you guys have any other questions, I hope this video was helpful. I probably like a little bit all over the place because this video was very like not really spontaneous. I knew I wanted to create this video, but I don't have like a specific outline of like what I was gonna say. So I'm just sort of just talking out loud, thinking out loud, just thinking about, okay, what have I changed from the last video to now creating this video? And yeah, it just, some words of empowerment is to be easy on yourself. Dealing with a health issue is not the easiest thing, and you're doing the best that you can, especially for something like BFS where it's benign. Doctors don't really know why it happens. It's pretty much a very mysterious health situation and condition. So be easy on yourself, trying to do as much as you can from a very holistic perspective to deal with it. And these are the things that I've been doing to deal with it. And it's getting better, really you have to be positive when you are going through things like this. It's really the only way. It's better to be positive than to be negative, that's for sure, right? So just knowing that like this isn't a forever thing. There have been people that have had BFS that have successfully dealt with it and have are back to normal or being healthy again. And I definitely feel like I'm on my way to being there, and along that journey I am not only just dealing with helping to get rid of the BFS, but also just shifting the way that I look at my health and my overall well-being. And I'm seeing my energy levels increase because of these things that I am doing. I'm seeing my confidence levels, my mental health improve because of these things that I'm doing. So definitely, keep at it. I know sometimes it may be rough. You feel like you're trying everything, but don't give up. You don't give up. Keep experimenting, keep trying things, and see your doctor. I still see my doctor, even though she may not agree with some of the things that I'm doing, like taking activated charcoal, just making sure that you're getting some of these supplements from reputable sources, of course. And I've done my research. I trust Cymbiotika. I have the description and link below of all the products I'm taking. I trust their products, and I feel like it's been working for me, so I'm going to continue. But, still go see your doctor. Once a year, I do my physical. I just went like a couple weeks ago. A couple months ago, I also went to get like a blood test to just test for my heavy metals and like my vitamin levels, and everything looked pretty good. I did have some like very low traces of heavy metals, so I would love for the next time I do my lab test to see like 0. That might be very hard to see 0 because there's so many toxins in our environment. And then my B12 levels were actually super, super, super high, which was ironic because I thought I wasn't getting enough B12, but I was getting too much. So it is good to maybe do some of these tests to see like where you're at, what are your vitamin levels at, your heavy metals, and then kind of from there, do the necessary work to balance that out, or in the case of heavy metals, to reduce the levels as much as possible. and you're doing the best you can. So proud of you for even just like watching this video, and I hope that this is helpful. And please stay in contact. Comment below if you've been doing anything that you find has been super helpful along this journey of healing your BFS. And yeah, let's all support one another on our journey towards well-being, and yeah, just reminding ourselves that it's not just taking care of our body, but our minds and our spirits as well. And I hope you see progress. Bye guys, I'll catch you in the next video.